And we're live. How's it going, Northreach? Welcome back to the Chopping Block, the only Amtgard podcast that formally accepts 49 out of the 50 states of America, because I'll be damned if I acknowledge Idaho exists.
Disclaimer, Jack does not actually believe that Idaho does not exist, nor does he have a problem with Idaho or any of the people who live in it. This was purely made for the joke and hopes that nobody was upset by this. Okay, thank you, continuing with the program.
As always, I'm your host, Hars, and with me is Ray.
Hello.
And with us is another prestigious member of Northreach. She's done office in just about everything except for maybe GMR. I think that's the only position I've never seen you in. She's currently our North's only dual paragon, and as of now, she's currently the Kingdom Prime Minister. Welcome, Baroness Mara.
So nerd. I was
How's it going?
GMR before your time, Jack.
Yeah, fair enough. So how's it going today, Mara?
Oh, lovely as always. It's the derisive snort.
I was more kind of looking at Ray, like she had this like mischief look to her, and I wasn't sure what she was doing.
Nothing. When am I ever doing anything important, ever?
It's not the important part I'm worried about, it's the mischief part I'm worried about.
When am I ever not doing mischief?
Yeah, okay, that's a fair question. I should just come to expect it by now. So, Mara, so you've been saying, you said you've been... Ray? No.
There's no food in there, why?
Because I already got through the food. Anyway. But yeah, so, Mara, you said you've been doing at this for a while. How long have you been doing this for now?
2010? 2010, 2009, somewhere around there.
So it's getting close to like 8 years or something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around that. Back when we started up losing them.
So what got you into doing this from the start anyway?
We had another LARP group that was not as combat focused. It kind of just merged over. Looking for a tabletop group and couldn't find one that I wanted to deal with.
Yeah, I heard like during my first like early times here, like you were kind of one of the big pieces in like stopping them from being just a bunch of people sitting in a classroom playing Munchkin to actually doing like LARP stuff.
We did the whole board games for a little while there. It was the dark times, but before that we were LARPing. We did the board games when we had a rough time getting a location, but we honestly only did that for like half of one winter.
So, how did you incorporate the foam weapons with board games? Did you just, like, attack people that were beating you until they were in submission? You could take over?
I wish. I mean, the best I could do is play Munchkin as possible. Sadly, we weren't doing much with Amtgard. We were just trying to stay together as a group while we were struggling to get a place to play inside.
That's been one of the biggest challenges from what I understand, kingdoms that deal with longer winter months. So you were around when they kind of solved that challenge. What did it take in terms of implementation and organization to move Amtgard inside in Alaska?
That, one of the biggest struggles on that was finances, obviously. The one biggest hurdle we had to get over was the concept of it's not pay to play, it's pay to have a site. So actually getting people on board with contributing to renting a facility was our big hurdle we had to get through. Before that, even charging $5 for a site fee during the winter was unheard of, and honestly, we got a lot of pissed off players.
So, over time, how did you, help people accept that was necessary to have quality indoor play?
A lot of long conversations. Unfortunately, back in the day, we were having to pay $10 a person to play.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was hard, and I understand we had a lot of people that it just couldn't manage it, but they eventually understood that that was the only way this was going to happen.
I see.
We got it down to 5 by our Ren Fair. Having a really good presence at the Ren Fair and making some money there, we were able to supplement it and make it where it was only $5 a person.
That's awesome.
As someone who has volunteered at Ren Fair, I just enjoy being there. Like, even if there weren't a purpose for it, like getting to do battle or getting to call out to little kids and be in full costume and be a part of their Ren Fair experience in any way is totally just fun. For any Northreach members who are interested in volunteering, I highly recommend both Ren Fair and State Fair just as really enjoyable volunteer things that support a good cause and support a good community group.
I agree. It's exhausting, but it's rewarding.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I absolutely love volunteering at stuff like the Renaissance Fair. Not just helping the group, but a lot of the people that we get from that, they remember that. A lot of the people you talk to, it's something that carries with them for a long time. You're actually affecting some of these kids and making their entire weekend by chasing them around with a foam stick.
Yeah, I remember one of the first phrases I got when I was it was the first Ren Fair that I helped out with, the day after that when we were going to be having our newbie barbecue that we usually do, is I can't remember who said it, but I think it was Boot, I think, because she was helping run the big newbie barbecue at the time. Or wait, no, it was Hakeem who had said it was your worst day could be somebody's first day, and just yeah.
Wish more people would remember that. Always, always, always a new first impression for these folks is amazing if it's great, or scarring if it's not.
Something I have to share, I don't know if you're aware of this, but so when I started Amtgard, I didn't know anybody at all. I didn't know where you played or anything about it. I knew I wanted to get into LARP, but I had no clue where to even begin to look. If you don't even know where to start to look, you have no way of accessing that information. And you were actually the person that got me into it, because I was at a barbecue at Russian Jack and I heard you yelling out that it was open to everybody and anyone could join, and you just need to sign a waiver and come over and get your waivers. And I left the 907 barbecue and I was like, well, goodbye, video game friends. I'm gonna go to where this cool lady is shouting out that I can run around and swing weapons at people. Because What?
I remember that barbecue.
It was
Very excited about
It was
all
awesome.
the nerds standing around. I'm like, oh, look at all those sweet, sweet nerds.
Well, I was one of them.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised how we didn't really retain too many people from that. We got you.
You retained me.
We retained you. That is important.
That's the most important.
Fair enough. Yeah. I think we got Hunter out of that too. I want to say that's where we got him. I don't know. I might just be remembering things wrong, but yeah. I'm a little surprised that there were so few questions at the time when I posted your announcement as our guest. But literally this morning, I was just saying, "Come on, guys, this could be your last chance." And all of a sudden, 5 or 6 new questions suddenly started springing up, and I was just saying we could start getting through some of these. And since Ray asked the first one, I was going to give her full reins to go on and do her thing.
And I'm quite proud to be the first question. Thank you very much with my very relevant, important question.
Good job, Ray.
So your house sigil is...
My mumble just did that one.
So your house sigil is...
That it is.
Okay, so they have the name honey in their name. So where do they keep this honey? And where can I get it from? Because honey is my most favorite of foods.
Are you honestly trying to take food from a fat girl? Is that your plan? How do you think that's going to go down?
I'll take food from anybody that has it and isn't watching it closely enough.
She's not lying. Literally, as this episode started, she was trying to dig into some of my food.
Jack, you're scrawny. I mean, obviously you're not fighting for the food hard enough.
Actually, the bag was empty, so yeah, I can't fight for the food when there is no food to fight for.
I was quite disappointed.
Good.
But seriously, I think the next question was Richter.
Oh, yeah. So, it was asked on the Lupin Moon page, and I moved it over. And he said, "Because I have to know, and so does Northreach, what is your favorite wine, if price was not an issue?"
Ooh, that's actually a serious question. As aforementioned, loving food and drink. Depends on the occasion. If it's dinner, then it's always a red wine. If I'm just around like a campfire and hanging out with people, blushes, occasional white, but I'm not a big white fan. I actually really dig some of the stuff coming out of this brewery up in Homer. It's only like $25 a bottle, but it's really good.
Ooh, nice.
What's the name of said brewery?
It's Bear Creek.
Oh.
You know what? I think I've had a couple of their ones.
So you're saying it was called Bear Creek?
Bear Creek, and the red I really love is Black Raspberry.
Ooh, that's really
I
good.
think that's the one I tried that my roommates brought back. They're big on wine too. It was incredible.
I don't really have a lot of wine now that I think of it. I think the only one I had consistently for a while was...
no tannin.
I have taken over the show. It is just me now. So you were saying it's no tannins in the wine?
Yeah, so... no, tannins always... the aftertaste on that wine is almost non-existent.
Yeah, that's... I noticed that my roommates are super big into wines too, and they brought... I think it was that one back, and I was just totally thrown. It tasted incredible. It's a really good choice.
That is my comfort food. You pair that with a dark chocolate and like a pepperoni.
Nice. Do you when you eat pepperoni, do you just eat it as a snack, or do you eat it like what are your favorite ways to eat pepperoni when you're drinking it with the wine? Just straight, or do you eat it on anything?
Oh, just as a snack.
Yeah. I love
Or just straight, because you want that bit of spice with a really rich wine.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, actually, probably better if I sit in the chair.
Yes. All right, Hars is back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Something came up.
So I think that takes us to the next question.
Okay. Next one we got is another one from Richter here, and that is, what is your favorite weapon to slay the masses in battle games?
Ooh, depends on the battle game, but it's usually my big ass polearm. That's my baby.
Wait, is that the one that says...
So I can be swayed to use sword and board.
I remember for a while you were really mean with your shield flail combo.
It used to be. I don't really do that much anymore. I found the sword and board was more efficient.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the next question.
But my polearm's name is Anger Issues.
That's what it was, yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask if you had a name for your polearm, because I seem to recall there being a name there.
Yeah, I was going to say it was either Anger Issues or, God, there was another one for it. It was either you or someone else that had it named Kindness, and that's how you would kill people with. I think I might be thinking of someone else. I can't think of who.
You are thinking of someone else. I remember that, but I don't remember who it was.
So I think our next question is from Drake, and it was, what was your best office and why? So I guess maybe the one you did best in, or the one that was your favorite and why?
What?
Like the office that you did best in, that you liked the best, and why?
Yeah, verbatim it says best office and why.
Well, that's kind of hard, because, I mean, I obviously have some PM loyalty. I fucking love my PMs. But my most, that I really got into was Regent.
Regent's fun, yeah.
As we were talking about before, the recruitment and getting the people really involved in the game is huge. It changes the way we play. It changes how our group develops. In Regent, that was my primary focus. It was great.
That's something that I think we've heard echoed a couple of times, that getting new players involved is a really sort of inspirational thing.
It really is.
And you were mentioning it changes the way sort of the group develops and the way the game is played. What about it specifically? Does it have to do with like educating new members on the field, or also like kind of the volunteer work and getting people involved in the side, or like what about getting the new players kind of changes things for you?
The energy. It's hands down the energy. The new player experiencing the game for the first time and having that wonderment of finding this community that actually doesn't reject them, it's intoxicating.
I think for me, something that struck me was how active everyone is. It's like, and I was just speaking with somebody else who hasn't played yet but might be joining us, but when I talk to my friends about it, what inspires them and gets them to just want to come with me whenever they have time is it's that having people that have nerd interests that they can talk to about anime, about board games, about video games, what have you, but that also want to go outside and do something not just outside but competitive, like something that's like a field sport where they're involved and they're supporting their team and they're active. Because I think a lot of us don't get that enough in our board games, our video games, and we crave that if we're active individuals. Like we want that same sense of community outside the gaming room, you know?
Yeah.
That is a wonderful aspect of our game. I super love that. Finding as I get older and I've become a mom, I've been talking to some of the moms that bring their kids on the sidelines, and they're watching that with their kid. They absolutely love that their teenager that was never leaving the house before is suddenly Saturday, they are gone. They're at Amtgard.
Not gonna lie, that was me when I first joined. I was like 16 or 17, and that was pretty much my exact story.
Oh, I know, Jack. I know.
Yeah. You know, Mara. You were there.
We're an awkward duck.
Kind of an awkward story. I don't think I've ever told the story on the podcast, but the way Mara and I met was an interesting one. So what I was doing is I think I was playing Scout at the time, and I think we were playing like a capture the flag type game. And Mara was going on, and I don't remember if you were wearing full plate, but I know you had like plate on your legs or something. And because I didn't really know who you were.
Plate.
Okay, yeah, you were in full plate. And what happened was I just like straight up rushed her and like drumrolled her, and I'm not sure if I killed you, but regardless of whether I killed you or not, you ended up falling on me, and that's how I met Mara, and the rest is history.
Well, that explains why you're so tiny. It compacted you.
You know, she who lives in a tiny house should not cast tiny stones, Ray.
I'm not tiny. I'm easily packable. People can take me places.
God, little people, protect your kneecaps.
Oh yeah, moral of the story there. Okay, so this next one we got is from Nalarian, and he asks, what's your favorite combo / setup with a caster?
Well, this is a good one, because you've played a lot of casters, right?
I do play casters. That's actually pretty hard. It would depend on the event, what I'm at, what battle game I'm playing, what type of field, and what type of people I'm playing with. If I'm playing with a lot of new players, I absolutely hate playing overpowered combination stuff. It feels cheap and stupid. So I usually really love playing Necromancer, Healer Necromancer with new players so that I can keep them out on the field, like, constantly.
Just make them into undead minions and don't have to worry about them dying off.
Just explain the basics of Undead Minion and say, hey, we're gonna play and we're gonna just keep you on the field as much as possible.
That's good. I like that.
If I just want to play straight stick, then I love Priest. I really love Priest for just wanting to go hit people and heal myself.
I imagine your team likes the Priest build too.
That's my very, very selfish healer, though, because nobody else is getting those heals.
Fair enough.
They're mine.
Alright, I feel like we're kind of overlapping with some of the questions that Nalarian asked just because of what he's asking now.
I guess the next question is pretty good. It's
this one.
What do you hate facing the most as the setup that's your favorite caster combo? So, like, when you're playing a caster combo set for, a specific type of battle game, what are the classes or caster combos you have the most difficulty with?
Straight stick. Honestly, it's just anybody that's better stick than me. If they have even the basest of armor, my priest combo's kind of on the rough side. With my necromancer, anybody that's trying to track my poor gummies.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna do scouts, you're all assholes.
So, I guess the next question kind of leads into some of your previous questions, as Hars was saying, but why polearm? Like, what about polearm is your favorite when you play polearm? I feel like you've answered this a little bit, but...
I actually started playing with polearm because I wanted a better workout while I was out playing. I like the feeling of the core workout I get carrying that big-ass polearm in the fights.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of developed into I want to be a better polearm fighter, so I just practice with it.
Yeah. Do you typically play monk when you're using your polearm? Is that...
For a while, I know that was a thing that wizards could use too.
Play monk to avoid using my spells. I don't want any temptation to use some form of magic to cheese dick and not become a better pole fighter. I won't play anything that can use magic while I'm using a pole.
That's actually a really good thing to note, because I noticed as an assassin that when I'm carrying my throws around, I fight with my swords less, and as a result, I wasn't actually improving beyond just base entry level, I have 2 swords, and so for a while I was running around without my throwing items, like just to kind of get used to using the swords, at least for blocking and parrying.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to expand yourself, not just pigeonhole yourself into specific aspects of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool what you commented about the polearm with the core workout, just because I think it's really easy when you start Amtgard to you do what you love, and then you do what you love so much that you forget there's so many different ways to play the game. So that's some really good input in that.
So, mentioning monk, I think that
honestly, the more you do it, the better you are at it.
I think that kind of answers the other question of why monk,
right,
too.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, I don't want to think about magic.
Well,
I would be tempted to use magic. I don't want to try to get out of anything. I won't even use monk abilities most of the time, honestly.
Yeah, I noticed, actually. Most of the time, the only real monk ability I notice you use half the time is just when you're blocking projectiles. Which, you know what? Fair enough. What? What's with the face? What?
As a primary throwy user, that just gives me a chance to improve my curveballs.
There you go. Alright. Well, this next one we got from Nalarian is, if there were basic things someone should know before becoming a local prime minister, what are they? And same for kingdom level if it's different.
Have a good scanner, have a good computer, don't let anything fall behind, because then you get overwhelmed.
Yeah, that sounds about
It's
right.
a super easy job. It's like one of the best jobs you can have in all of Northreach, but if you fall behind, you start getting overwhelmed, and a lot of people just shut down.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that's like the only position that I haven't held down, and pretty much for that reason, it's just I don't trust myself with that kind of work.
Honestly, if you do it weekly, if you stay on top of it, it's less work than any other office. Any other office done really well.
Okay, that's fair.
And we don't have to make hard decisions. We're just bookkeepers.
That is true. I didn't think of that. I kind of like Region for the similar reason. Like the big decision we make is like, where do we go for mid-range most of the time?
Oh, I don't know. Whereas Regent's got some decent responsibility there. If something happens, the Monarch's not there, you're Monarch.
That's
you
true.
Always have a bit of responsibility going on there.
Yeah. Okay, that is fair.
So for the next...
Also hand out awards.
That is true, yeah.
And I mean, whenever you're in any office, you're also kind of a face of Northreach.
That's true.
You're someone somebody can go to for questions visibly.
I think the main reason I like Regent the way it is just because I like being sort of the contingency, like sort of the one who prepares for like the worst case scenario and like is able to sort of provide immediate support to like my superiors and all that. I think that's probably what draws Regent for me.
So, aside from any office-oriented positions or obligations, I guess, so like maybe when you're not in office or even just not considering office, our next question is what keeps you coming back each week? Like, what is your favorite part?
That's changed a lot through the years. It used to be just the friends that I had out there, and then everybody comes and goes, and you know how that goes. Now it's my kid. I'm enjoying watching her develop as a fighter and really get out there. I enjoy watching the other younger kids develop as a fighter and as people.
As an observer,
kind of like when Jack started, he was a baby and he was shy and he was awkward, and he's developed in the game to become significantly more outgoing than he was then.
It's true. I was a shell of what I am now.
With a lot of these young kids, and it's fun.
As an observer, it's always...
That's my mom answer.
No, but so as an observer, it's always refreshing to note the level of maturity in our younger population, even the kids that aren't playing yet. Like, you can see the maturity set in so quickly as they're exposed to other kids and as they watch adults, playing fairly on the field and with good sportsmanlike behavior, on a regular basis, just by example and then also by immersion as they grow up in Amtgard. It's really refreshing to see that in our younger population. Mm-hmm. Your daughter's incredible, and I always love having her on our team just because I always know she's gonna do the best, support her team, and have a good attitude, and that's incredible. That's a really good lesson for any young person.
Plus, in my experience, when Mara and her kid are on opposite teams, I usually know who she's going to go after, and it isn't.
You know which direction to run away from.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, all right, kid, she looks like she's wants to have a word with you. She's all yours.
Somebody's got to put her in her place sometime. Heavy burden, but I'll take it.
Hey, you do you, fam. You do you. Alright, so that's pretty much all we had for, the given questions, but I know Ray usually has, a couple of bonus ones she always wants to ask at the end, so, Ray?
I definitely have 2 questions I've been sitting on. So, my first question is, so you have a couple of apprentices, correct? You've had a couple of apprentices over the years?
I only keep one active apprentice. Well, I only kept one active for Wizard, but then I have 2 Paragons now, so now I have 2 active.
Oh, so it's like Sith rules.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. There's only 2.
So who has been your favorite apprentice?
Oh, we're gonna do that, are we? Wow.
And why?
Hold on, let me go apprentice my kid real quick. I actually really like my current apprentices. For those that don't know, my current apprentices are Catalau is my wizard apprentice and Karina is my healer apprentice.
Aww.
I have one apprentice that is kind of an asshole, but he's already graduated, so I don't have to put up with him anymore.
I don't listen to you anymore, Mom.
Oh, gee, is that you, Hars?
What do you do, bitch?
Yes, Mara.
That's so funny. I didn't realize.
RP-wise, Mac was actually pretty fun. Well, Hars was actually pretty fun. He really leaned into it with RP. He developed really fast, which was great. I like to maintain a nice graduation rate.
Well, I think
Catalau's still fresh, so he's working it.
I was gonna say I think Mara's just saying that about me because I was able to like write her roleplay better than she does half the time.
I don't write my roleplay. I have people for that.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying if you go to the
What can I say? Except you're welcome.
if you go to no joke if you actually go to Mara's orc, her last 2 orders of the facade were because of me.
I mean, arguably you were her apprentice.
That's not awkward at all.
So, isn't it because of her?
I guess.
I mean, I hand down the orders, so everything you do is just me being awesome.
Yeah.
Very efficiently.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
So, my next
No, I will not pick favorites amongst my children.
Aww. I was really hoping it would be, other people. And then we can make fun of Jack together.
I mean, what's stopping you guys now?
That's fair. That goes to my next question, actually.
Wait, what?
So, as a female in Amtgard, I'm straight, but I definitely have my female Amtgard crushes. For example, when I first started, you were my crush. Because I absolutely loved when I first started, I didn't know anybody at all. And you would get out onto the field, be in full armor, plate and shield, and sword and everything. And you would just let out these battle cries. I remember one time my little nephew who loves wrestling and play fighting and stuff, I was bringing him to Amtgard and I was like, you'll get to see people doing field sports but fighting. And I was like, and you'll get to see a warrior woman. And he's like, what's a warrior woman? And I'm like, that's Mara. Basically, that's the woman that when the battle faces her, lets out the yell and charges the whole line without waiting. I always know when you're on my team, I can dive behind you and go for an objective because if you're there, you're gonna body block and use every skill set and ability and tool you have to make sure that I get that objective. And so, you were my, first Amtgard crush. So, speaking of Amtgard crushes, female crushes, as a female, who is your female Amtgard crush? The person that you first looked up to or that has just inspired you? And you can't pick me or Hars, obviously, since we're the announcers here.
Ooh, that is...
It's just looking at me.
That's rough.
I know, we have so many great females up here. Anymore, it's just a whole harem of crushes for me. I love you all.
We got some hottie toddies, not gonna lie.
Right?
I do.
Remind me one of these days and I'll tell you the bounce off story.
Oh God!
From
I almost forgot about that.
Early days.
Oh my gosh. Can we hear this story now?
Please, by all means.
Alright, so this is I was used to being the chestiest of chestiest people in our group. And I had a habit of bouncing while I fought, which you could usually see somebody's head bobbing along, and it's like, ha ha ha, distraction, now I'm going to kill you. Then a new player joins our group, and she's on the other team, and she starts bouncing. And I keep watching. And she kills me.
Amazing.
It was the first time I was ever defeated in a bounce-off.
Oh, man.
Taste of your own medicine.
That was my second day out in Amtgard, too.
I know, it was...
Hars remembers because he was watching the bounce off too.
I felt bad for folk. I'm pretty sure majority of our field was watching the very awkward bounce off that I got my ass handed to me at.
Mm-hmm.
So, on a slightly, like, look up to kind of girl crush I had early on was, Yasmina. Not sure if you were around for Yasmina. She was just all in beast mode, helping maintain our group. My region a few times when I was Monarch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Monarch, that was before you guys' time.
I was there for that.
She, like, held me the hell together quite a few times whenever I was getting super stressed out running for office or trying to keep the park moving smoothly. Oh, but early on, fighting girl crush was Rhapsody up in Astralwind.
Ah, yes. I miss her.
She's the first person to actually make me run like a bitch screaming.
What?
Oh, dude, Rhapsody was vicious back
man.
back when she started.
I'm trying to imagine
Rhapsody is
that.
beast.
Dude, I miss her.
Chase me off the field like a fucking monster.
I don't actually imagine a person at this point. I imagine a literal honey badger, and then you're like Batman. That's why you chose that as your house sigil. You're like, honey badgers are terrifying. I was chased by one named Rhapsody, and so that's now my emblem. That's fantastic.
Shows you I wasn't always quite as vicious on the field.
You had a hell of a role model, it sounds like. Man, I feel like I kind of missed out with her now, because I got to see her during, like, her more mellow time, when she was, like, more bardly. Like, she had, like, bells around her shoes half the time, and, like, would travel in, like, groups of, like, bar trios, just traveling through the woods going, sneak, 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 sneak. Like, I feel like I missed it. I feel like there's a whole side I haven't seen, and I kind of want to now.
I seem to be confused that her bardly time was just as fucking mean.
I don't know, maybe
vicious with her sword and board.
Maybe I just never saw that. Maybe I just was looking away at all the right times or something.
Hars was too busy hiding.
Her and Gwen were my early examples of females in Amtgard, so it was really cool with Astriana and Rhapsody. They were both just like beast sword and board, so it was like, oh shit, chicks do this just as much as dudes. That's fucking awesome.
It's always really inspiring to see. Like, as a female, it's inspiring when I can see an example of a female stepping outside, like, the box we're used to seeing women in. Like, that's just super inspiring and always gets me pumped.
So, we were talking a bit about, like, your older crushes. Did you have any, like, newer ones?
Again, it can't be me or Hars because we're
Ray.
speakers.
I feel bad because I'm like really bad with names. So I kind of feel bad going into this, and somebody has told me our name like 3 times, but I'm an asshole and I'm old. Newer player, SCA, plays among...
Oh, she's the lady
Ring any bells for you?
She's the lady that comes with her kids, right?
Yeah, I fucking love her.
She's amazing.
She will rip our teams apart.
Yeah, she's always like super smiling. Her kids are always amazing, like just really great, sweet little kids. They're running around. They look like little hobbits, like because they're always garbed to the nine. Like they look amazing, and I love her garb. I totally know who you mean.
I'm drawing a God, it's on the tip of my tongue, too.
She just started playing in the last couple months that I've seen, and she's a total sweetheart. Good sport on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's definitely someone that, upon meeting, I look up to as well, because she's always just such a great sport.
I agree.
Yeah.
He's the kind of people we need more of.
Agree. Yeah.
Definitely.
More is always
Yes,
better.
I have a little bit of a girl crush right there.
You and me both, man. So, you had mentioned you gave advice on PM, on how to do well with PM. What about Regent? Because you had mentioned that you liked that as well, and that part of what you liked, that was the one, right, where you mentioned that you liked working with the new players and kind of bringing new players in. What is some advice that you can give to our people that hold Regent as an office?
Every day, go into Amtgard with boundless energy, because you need to be the most positive person you can be for these new players. You need to be somebody that they're comfortable coming to talk to if they have any questions or concerns, or if they just want to get more comfortable in the game. I think that job has a huge responsibility if it's done well.
I can get behind that.
Awesome. I have to say, one of my
I
favorite...
will never run for Regent unless I have a ton of energy.
I have to say, one of my favorite things about listening to the different people that are interviewed on the show is hearing you guys speak about Office and what draws you to it, the difficulties, the challenges, and also like how to overcome them and the advice that you give, because I think that gives such great insight to players that maybe have never run for Office but might be interested into what those offices entail and how they can be successful so that they don't fall into maybe the same pitfalls that others have already encountered. They get to learn from that. The show has been so incredible both to listen to and also to ask you guys questions about that. So,
All right, then. Well, I think that's a good place to actually wrap up here. So, I wanted to just thank everybody who had been watching up to this point, and Mara, thank you for being on the show with us. This was an awesome episode.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. This is kind of cool insight into our officers. Neat project.
Thank you. All right, well, once again, thank you all for watching this at home. Tune in next time where we'll be interviewing the Ravenstone Monarch, Gideon. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'm Hars, this is Ray, and you've been watching The Chopping Block. Have a good night, everybody.
good night.